it's just rough. And we saw Jeffers. That's a pretty good squad. So, and I saw Houghton at the showcase. They're usually good. They're good again.
And I thought Jeffers, the talent didn't impress me, but they were very disciplined. I thought, and every line kind of was the same.
Yeah, right. They didn't make any huge mistakes. I don't remember anything like that. We had to work for everything we got, and it's a good game. Yeah, like this level, if you can eliminate the big errors, that's going a long way toward winning a game or putting yourself in a good position.
Got little kids out on the ice tonight?
Yeah, I got handed some information here. Nick Knobber and J.D. Gajtka.
Okay.
Welcome back to the Southside Ice Arena. I'm Matt Gajtka. We're here live in Byron Center for the annual meeting between Grand Rapids Catholic Central and East Grand Rapids, with the added meaning tonight of being, of course, the annual Teddy Bear Toss night, benefiting the Billy Bear Hug Foundation. So looking forward to continuing that tradition this evening. It's a frigid evening, so it helps to have a teddy bear to snuggle up with, at least for a little bit, until the first goal goes on the board tonight. Also, though, in terms of what these two teams are playing for in the context of the season, these two teams are right on the fringe of the top four in the OK Conference's group division. You have to be in the top 4 out of 8 to qualify for the championship bracket of the upcoming conference tournament in a couple of weeks. There's one scenario, if CC wins in overtime over EGR, in which both teams would move on and be in the top 4 at the end of conference play this week. But for the most part, look at it as a play-in game, as the team that wins this game tonight will be locked into the top 4, and the team that loses will be on the outside looking in. So, plenty to play for tonight. The OK Conference ratcheting up the stakes. These two teams with winning records on the year: Catholic Central 12-5-2, East Grand Rapids 10-8. Both teams have played well in the month of January. East Grand Rapids just yesterday had a 4-game winning streak snapped against their rink rival out at Patterson. They lost 2-1 to Forest Hill Central. And last night, Catholic Central improved to 7-2-2 in their last 11 games. They've been outstanding since the calendar turned 2025 to 2026. So both teams playing their best hockey right now. It should make for an interesting matchup. Also, these two teams are like looking in a mirror tonight, because both have scored almost exactly the same number of goals per game. Catholic Central at 2.7 per game, East Grand Rapids at 2.6, and both teams are allowing just a shade over 2 goals per outing. Catholic Central at 2.2 allowed, and East at 2.1. So two teams that play very sound team hockey, and two teams that have found a way to squeeze out some results. They've been at home in close games. Last night, Catholic Central pulling away from Saginaw Heritage here in a game that you saw on Puck Radio, on our network, and on YouTube. 4-1 is the final there. Like I mentioned, East 2-1 losers to Forest Hill Central in a tight one. Just last Saturday, Catholic Central was right in it against Byron Center, who might finish in the top spot in the OK Conference's division before falling 2-0. We've got a couple of young hockey players out there to join the Catholic Central starting lineup. Nick Knobber, who's a second grader at St. Robert's Catholic School in Ada, and also J.D. Gajtka, who also attends St. Robert's, also in the second grade. Both big hockey players and both are youth players of the game. Let's give them a round of applause. The fans here do. we've got the prayer coming up and the national anthem. So I'll step aside on Cougar Puck Radio. Not much I have to say to get you hyped up for this game, as these two teams are aiming for a conference championship. The first stage is to get into the championship bracket. So whoever comes out on top will put themselves in position for that long-term goal. Back in just a couple of moments on Cougar Puck Radio.
JD was joined today by his parents, Sarah and CJ.
Let's come on there and sit so you guys have space.
So, quick question for you.
Thank you to all our youth players of the game. Now, ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we ask that you please stand and bow your head in prayer.
I don't know.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for the opportunity to gather in support of our communities and schools. We ask that you watch over and protect our student athletes and help them perform to the best of their abilities. We also ask that you help each person here tonight exhibit the kind of sportsmanship and character that would be pleasing to you. Amen. We ask that you remain standing. The privilege of this event was made possible by those who have fought and continue to fight for the freedoms we enjoy. Let us now honor and respect their efforts and our country. Civilian gentlemen, please remove your hats. All veterans, we encourage you to render the appropriate salute. And everyone able, please stand at attention, placing your hand over your heart as we play our national anthem.
You get the quarters of the ice in there.
So right now we're down to the board.
Yeah. That's
You get all the ice, but you get all the fans.
okay.
If you don't want the fans, the problem is you cannot get the puck on the board.
Yeah, I think
people with it.
it's just important to focus on the action on the ice. If people get in the way, that's fine. Yeah. It only adds to the atmosphere. It is Teddy Bear Toss night, and the annual Teddy Bear Toss held in recognition of Billy Wonderchin, the former CC hockey captain. Billy was known for his legendary bear hugs and for also a groundbreaking discovery of a rare gene that had the potential to change how doctors diagnose kidney cancer. And Billy had aspirations to get into pediatrics.
A little late.
And unfortunately, Billy passed away suddenly in 2010. So his spirit and legacy continue to live on. And a special tradition shared by Catholic Central and East Grand Rapids over the past 15 years. So basically, the gist is, after the first goal, throw your teddy bears on the ice. They'll be collected, and through the Billy Bear Hug Foundation, they'll be distributed to local children in need, along with care packages. And like I said, on a cold night like tonight, you can appreciate having a teddy bear to hang on to. Ryder Owen plays the puck at the side of his net. East Grand Rapids in the yellow jerseys. There's a shot ricocheting around the front. Noah Onstad nearly brought the teddy bears on there. Last year, it was Owen Stropke, the senior defenseman for East Grand Rapids, who scored the first goal out at Patterson and brought the deluge of stuffed animals. That was very early on. Maybe even the opening minute, now that I look back on it, is Ethan Brinker. He jams it into the Catholic Central end behind the goal. Jacob Aaron looks over his shoulder. The goalies, Jacob Aaron for Catholic Central and Ryder Owen for East Grand Rapids. Aaron, the second-year starter. Owen in a tandem with fellow sophomore Charlie Finch, who was excellent as a freshman for EGR. Jackson Dozma barreling into the corner against Whit Hill. Sophomore D. Hill plays it up to Runyon, nearly turned it over into the skates of Dozma, but the Pioneers are away. East in their home whites, blue trim, two-tone uniforms for the now fourth consecutive year. Drubbed along to the near wing, and out to center it goes to Cohen Potter, to Parker Moore. Scored a goal last night off a deflection in front. McLean ran over Brinker. Oh, and a penalty's called. Penalty against Catholic Central. Caleb McLean whistled for, I think I saw the signal for interference. We'll check on that in just a moment. Hard to bring Brinker down. He's a big man. It is interference. That's the first call of the game by the men in stripes. And so East goes to the power play. Catholic Central's McLean to the box with 15:21 to go in the first period. Catholic Central again missing their co-captain and the second leading scorer in Isaac Kappinga due to injury. He had 12 points on the season. And so Catholic Central playing with 11 forwards available tonight, like they did last night too in that win against Saginaw Heritage. Caden Gosens to the outside. One of the twin tandem, Jake and Caden Gosens, both seniors for East Grand Rapids. We've seen a lot of winning there as Runyon shoots toward the front, deflected. Pastelli, senior D for Catholic Central, clears all the way down the near wing side. So East Grand Rapids sets up on the power play, and the power play has been effective lately for East. Very similar to Catholic Central. These two teams, like I said, they're following similar trajectories this year. Lively bounce off the end boards, handled there by Moore. And he escapes and backhands it off the stick of Gosens. Here's Moore moving ahead. Short-handed backhand score! Parker Moore brings on the Bears at Southside. Short-handed strike. 2 minutes and 21 seconds in. The backhand scooted under the pads of Ryder Owen. And now the cleanup begins. Second straight year a defenseman does it. I mentioned last year, Owen Stropke. This year, Parker Moore. But this was completely unexpected. There was a moment of confusion at center ice as Caden Gosens just flinched away from the puck and didn't want to touch it because it was deflected by a high stick from East. So just reflexively, he didn't want to play that puck. But in that spot, obviously, you want to make the play because the alternative is that you give up a breakaway. And that's what happened. And Moore stayed on his backhand side, scoring his second goal of the weekend and his 5th of the season. And that'll be, I think, unassisted, unless I'm missing something there. And yes, I threw my teddy bear out on the ice too. Good fun at Southside, and nice turnout as well. It was a late arriving crowd. It's a little warmer tonight. It was 9 degrees on my car thermometer when I walked in, so not quite as bad as last night. I believe it was -1 when I showed up for the game against Heritage. So both teams combined to break out the trash bags and load all the bears in. All these are cool teddy bears and stuffed animals. There's Mike McLean, team manager, twirling one over his head, a la the terrible towel. So, East Grand Rapids got to play from behind after Catholic Central scores short-handed, and like I said, a massive game for both teams. Conference championship aspirations. A couple of years ago, it took until the second period, I remember, for a goal to be scored. In some situations, if there's no goals in a teddy bear toss night, some teams will ask just to throw them out of the second intermission. That's the buzz going. Bjornsson gets away the attempted clear by Parker Moore. Back to Brinker at the blue line. Across he goes. This is Gosens. Wristing deflected up into the screen. Pardon, that was Porter Brooks shooting, and it's tipped by Cooper Moss up into the netting. Porter Brooks, number 22 in gold. He's a player to watch on the blue line. 5 goals this season from the defensive spot. Both teams have gotten plenty of goals from their D. Neither team has been especially prolific offensively, but they have leaned on defensemen to contribute, and they have come through in big ways. Catholic Central, after getting the clear here after the face-off win, Noah Onstad has 6 goals for them. Moore now with 5. Offside East Grand Rapids, and Brinker can't believe it. Also, Morgan Pastelli has scored a couple of times this year from his defensive position. And on the East Grand Rapids side, 3 goals for Brinker, 5 for Porter Brooks. Yeah, not enough to just concern yourself with the forwards on either side. You got to make sure you contain the D, and here is one of them. Porter Brooks right down the slot, dropped it back to Brinker. He wasn't expecting that. He kicked it to his stick. Brinker dusts off the puck. No shooting lane as Onstad confronted him. Again, the Cougars send D out high. The shot, and Trevor Bird's denied by Jacob Aaron. He hangs on to the loose puck in his equipment somewhere. 14 seconds to go on the power play. Trevor Bird's been hot for East. He's got 10 goals and 20 total points. 20 points leads the Pioneers. Just a sophomore, Trevor Bird. He and Bryce Bjornsson have been a potent duo. They've almost listened to his nears. Whacked out of the zone. Cooper Moss pursuing hard against Caden Gosens. Gosens wins the race. Cooper Moss has a shorthanded goal this year as well. And in fact, that is Parker Moore's second shorty of the season. Out of 5. Also scored one at Roman Christie. McLean's out of the box. Catholic Central back to 5-on-5 as Carlander tosses in deep. Owen slugs it over, far side Whithill. And the deflected puck onto the stick of Catholic Central's Carlander in over the blue line after Ten Harmsel led it ahead. Scooted through center, nearly on the tape of Owen. That would have been a 2-on-1, but he couldn't take it cleanly on the aerial feed. Gage Potter, top point getter for Catholic Central, hands it back to Onstad, who leads the blue line in points. Potter, a couple of assists last night. Onstad getting around the edge and shooting. Pad save by Owen. Dished in front, nobody home for Catholic Central. Ethan Brinker set sail through center. Brinker dropped it off. Looked like that was offside, but play allowed to continue. Linesman said nope, that was all good. Brooks at the blue line. Tapped it down the wall. Centered to J.P. Levan on the setup from Hoekstra, but he couldn't pull the trigger, could Levan, who is the defending Michigan Junior Amateur Golf Champion. Brinker at the blue line. Tossed it down the near boards, right in front of the Catholic Central student section, and ushered to center by Cohen Potter. We've got 2 brothers on Catholic Central, Cohen and Gage Potter. We've got twin brothers on East Grand Rapids, Jake and Caden Gosens. Jake's the forward on East, and Caden is the defenseman. Here's Cohen Potter, both he and Gage play up front. Pastelli lifts it down the wall, beyond the reach of McLean, who got a stick in the way. Collinon, who just scored his first varsity goal last night, pressuring the East defense. Brinker over to Brooks. Brooks up through the middle. Bjornsson deflects it onto the tape of Barnes, backhand. That flutters wide. Coming off the plate of the senior Alex Barnes. Gozema comes out from the far side behind the goal. Gave it away on the deflection. Barnes setting up Bird, cutting down the slot, and he got a shot away. But Aaron made the save, and Gozema says there was an extra whack there. But the referee doesn't appear to be calling anything extra against East.
No audio.
Really? Oh, no. So, I don't know, apparently, might have been picking up my computer audio there. We had the live feed going, but might have had a glitch here in the setup, so I apologize if you couldn't hear what I was saying there, especially during the teddy bear toss situation. So at any rate, it was Parker Moore scoring shorthanded. And Catholic Central ahead by a goal early on. Still 10:42 to go in the first. Plenty of action so far. East, though, comes up empty on its power play. Rowan run off the puck. Parker Moore takes control. Moore still on the biscuit. Stripped of the puck just over the blue line by Brinker. Heminger follows on. He scored a 5-on-3 goal last night to get Catholic Central off and running. Whithill bangs it behind the net. Here's Brinker. Brinker up to Hoekstra. Partially fan on the pass, but he does connect to Levan, who's looking for his first varsity goal still. Levan getting extensive playing time this year for the first time. Carlander behind his net. Smacks the pass up the far side, kept in by Brooks. Moss attempted to feed it, but it was off the skate of Trip Hoekstra. Over to Moore, and Cooper Moss couldn't escape. Hoekstra got in the way of that. East swarming at the moment, forcing the turnover. Brooks a shot. Redirected. Goes behind the goal. J.D. Menny on it. Onstadt separated him from the puck, but it comes loose to Bjornsson, turning to shoot. And the top goal getter for the Pioneers couldn't get it through, and it's punched through center and back into East Grand Rapids real estate. Owen leads it ahead. Good pass from him. Bjornsson pulled down, but no penalty called. So Catholic Central going in after it. This play continues. Bird. Lead feed Bjornsson. In over the blue, Bjornsson to the circle, a shot, good save by Aaron, rebound free in the circle, and Jensen kept it away from Bird. Up through center, Berkmeyer trying to move it north for Catholic Central. Instead it's back to Gavorkian, who hammers it off the wall. Over to Jensen, shoots in. Back behind the net, Owen. Owen gave it up the far side. And the Cougars all over it, but the puck does bounce out to center. Pushed ahead by Berkmeyer, but back in the possession of Whithill. 8:43 to go in a quick-moving first period, even with the stoppage for Teddy Bear toss. It's Parker Moore. Second straight year we had a defenseman do it. And crowd-pleasing moment again, as last year was the East Grand Rapids senior D, Owen Stropke, who scored the Teddy Bear goal, this time on home ice, Catholic Central's. Moore gets the job done on a shorthanded breakaway, no less. Jabbed out of the zone by Jake Gosens, and that goes for icing against the Pioneers with 8:14 remaining in the first. So catch your breath. These two teams playing for a spot, guaranteed spot in the top four of the OK-Roo division. Second straight year that we have the postseason conference tournament. Everyone plays in the tournament. It's just a matter of, are you in the championship bracket or are you in the, shall we say, the consolation bracket or the tier 2 bracket, whatever you want to call it. Each team will play 3 games that week, the first week of February. East Grand Rapids won it all last year in multiple overtimes. I think it was triple overtime, now that I think back on it, against Granville at Griff's Georgetown. Moss deflecting it ahead, chasing it after it. Gage Potter almost swooped in and took it in on net. Goalie matchup, Jacob Aaron for Catholic Central, Ryder Owen for East Grand Rapids. Owen meet Aaron, Aaron Owen. It's been a split duty situation for the Pioneers this year. For Catholic Central, it's been all Jacob Aaron by necessity. Only goalie on the roster. Parker Moore behind the goal. Hoekstra getting in after him on the forecheck. And the battle for it won by Morgan Pistelli of Catholic Central. He knocks away to the far wall Jack Reynolds. Digging in Menny, who has a couple of goals in recent games. Breaking a long scoring drought for the second-year Pioneer. Menny looks over his shoulder. It redirects behind him. He gets his bearings and shoots in. Under 7 to play in the first. Aaron stops the puck behind his goal. Postelli makes a man miss. That was Bird. The now top scorer for East Grand Rapids. 10 goals, 10 assists. Owen up the far side and rink wide from Bird to Bjornsson. Flipped up into the attacking zone, intercepted by Cade Heminger. Bjornsson trying to lasso the puck. The triple B line out there for East Grand Rapids. Watch out, Bird inadvertently deflects that puck right over the top of the Catholic Central photographer and behind the Cougars bench. Since the new year, it's been Bird, Barnes, and Bjornsson up top for Coach Chris Newton. Newton in his 8th year at East. The Pioneers have won 4 straight regional crowns with him behind the bench. This year they've had to replace a lot of scoring that graduated. And they've responded by playing more of a button-down, I don't want to call it a defensive style, but just hasn't been as high-flying as recent Pioneers teams. The Cougars play pretty much the same way as Gosens. Oh, he turned it in front, and it was deflected off his stick and right between the pads of Aaron, and he hangs on, getting the whistle. By the way, Jacob Aaron, you'll notice he's wearing an A on his jersey now for alternate captain. With capping out of the lineup due to injury, the Catholic Central Cougars could use one of those letters on someone else, and you don't often see it on goalies. In fact, in the NHL, it's prohibited for a goalie to be captain, just because of the responsibilities that go with captaincy and talking to officials, things like that. But no such rule in high school. Chasing after it, McLean trying to whack it away from Brinker. Potter joins the party, lifts it back to the point. Ten Harmsel shooting deflected in the slot and broken up to the near side. That was a good formula for Catholic Central last night. They got a couple of goals that way. Shots to the net, traffic in front. Here's McLean trying to take that pass across his body and shoot, but too tall of a task. And the Pioneers clear down for icing. 5:25 left in the opening frame. I mentioned in the pregame, although now that I look back on it, you might not have heard it because the audio was messed up, but if these two teams go to overtime, there could be a very interesting scenario that would send both the teams into the top 4 in the standings. A snapshot from Gavorkian off the stick of Owen. If it goes to OT and CC wins, both teams will end up with 9 points in the standings in conference games. It's Bjornsson. Oh, he rifled that shot off the blocker of Aaron. Good save, maybe his best of the opening period. Trying to drive in close was Bird, and it was whacked off his stick by Karsten Carlander, defending well. Carlander knocked down the pass, fed it to Gage Potter, and systematically the Cougars are away. Cooper Moss, great move. Puck drifted away from him, still got the shot away, and a save made by Owen. That close to 2-0. Moore out at the blue line, took the shot, blocked by Bryce Bjornsson, who genuflected to get in the way. He sends a finesse pass ahead, but it's onto the blade of Alex Gavorkian of Catholic Central. Playoff-like atmosphere here tonight. About a month before the playoffs really get going. Gage Potter jabbed off the puck by Caden Gosens, always strong on his skates. He's a tough customer, blocks a ton of shots for East Grand Rapids. Gosens run into, though, by Potter. And Potter, the freshman, turns it right back down in on the East goal. Owen stops it, fed it to Hill. Hoekstra, lead pass, eludes everybody. Icing again against East Grand Rapids. 4:05 to go in the first. Catholic Central Hockey has a new gold sponsor. In addition to Inovia Wealth, who's been with us all season, we now add ARC Insights. Thank you for your generous support and commitment to the Cougar student athletes and for supporting Cougar Puck Radio by proxy. Face off in the attacking zone. No, we'll do it again. Someone cheated, apparently. Or at least that was the ruling from the back linesman. Now he's saying that Dozema moved a bit early. So Heminger forced to step in against J.D. Menny of East Grand Rapids. Pioneers win it. Brooks back to Brinker, who clears off the near wall. Picking it up in flight is Hoekstra. Hoekstra to the corner. Checked hard by Postelli. Puck loose, but handed away by Onstadt. It goes D to D. Brinker, a shot. Glove save by Aaron. No further play, with Hoekstra hoping that the puck came loose in front. For a while there, a postseason matchup between these two teams was a springtime tradition, unlike any other. Last year, though, Catholic Central fell in the semifinals of the region against Grand Rapids Christian, and then Christian ended up falling to East Grand Rapids in the region championship up in Big Rapids on the campus of Ferris State. Prior to that, Catholic Central had made 3 of the last 4 region finals. Although they have not won one since 2021. That's on the list for Coach Marchand and his Cougars in his first year behind the bench. They're back to a winning record, almost guaranteed of a winning record in the regular season now, as Onstad has it pried off his blade, but there's Carlander following on to take it back for Catholic Central. Up the near boards it goes. Brinker, he's stripped by Cooper Moss. Near side Potter couldn't get a stick on it. Owen Runyon turns it up the wall, hit a leg, and it's free. Moss open, hit the crossbar with the shot from 25 feet out. Across it goes to Moss. Couldn't handle that bouncing puck on the feed from Carlander. So a couple of opportunities for Cooper Moss to add to the lead. He scored, he set up a couple of goals last night. Moss was active against the Heritage Hawks, who, by the way, beat Byron Center earlier today. Saginaw Heritage, just 3 wins on the year coming into this weekend, but I thought they were pretty decent last night. I was thinking they're better than the record suggests. It's a cliche, but in this case, I think it was quite true. Potter driving in, back into the front, deflected just wide by McLean. Great setup by Cohen Potter. Oh, he deserved an apple on that, but it's not going to happen, at least on that play. Cougars continue to fight for it. McLean choked down on the stick to whack it ahead, turned over to Cohen Potter. Ripped the shot, deflected, ends up behind the net, but Gosens gave it right back to Potter, tried to center it again, picked up by Barnes. Can he get it out? He can't. Kept in by Gavorkian. He's hit high by Bjornsson. Play allowed to continue. Both gentlemen got their sticks up. Bjornsson, can he handle it? He will move it right by Gavorkian, and he's got Bird ahead, but the puck drifted off of Bjornsson's stick and right to a Cougar. That was Ten Harmsel, who fires to center. Rifled right back in on Jacob Aaron, but the Cougars can try to break it out. Gavorkian to an open wing. He throws his head back. He thought someone should have been there, but Catholic Central in the midst of a line change with 90 seconds to go in the first. Parker Moore's shorthanded goal has given Catholic Central the lead on Teddy Bear Toss night. So we've got that checked off our list. Next on the list for the Cougars is a victory as Heminger hammers the slap shot. That missed the target to the left. Heminger took a hard hit from Hill. Boy, that looked like that hurt in a big way, but Heminger right back up, give him credit. That was one of those where Hill just stood his ground, and it was almost like the energy from Heminger charging in actually was turned back against him. Postelli hit hard by Hoekstra, and yes, the physicality is picking up. Postelli wires it in deep. Owen stops it at the side of his net. 50 seconds to go in the period. Carlander tried to fire it toward the front where Heminger was located, but it was blocked in front of the net by Many. Many now pressuring Carlander, who's got the size advantage on him. He backhands it to the far side. Brinker, great skating move. Tight turn to escape the Cougars' forechecking pressure. Gosens couldn't receive the pass behind him. Catholic Central delivers it out to center ice again. Brinker all the way across. Owen Runyon looks ahead. His delivery under the stick of Cooper Rowan. Rowan trying to feed it over to Jake Gosens. And interrupted by Carlander. Up the near wall. It's in the skates of Postelli. Watch out as Brooks activates from his D spot. Flung a pass into the slot that's taken away by Carlander, but he handed it right back over to Rowan. His drive was blocked, though. Carlander to Gage Potter. 5 seconds to go in the period. Carlander follows on. Lead pass looking for Cohen Potter, and it's away from his reach, and time runs out in an action-packed first period of play. Parker Moore, shorthanded on a breakaway. The only goal from the first 17 minutes of play. I'm Matt Gajtka. This is Cougar Puck Radio. Back in a moment. I know you're not leaving anytime soon, but I'll talk to you in 10 minutes with more action from Southside. so it was just picking up more of the ambient sound.
Gotcha.
I could still hear. Actually, I kind of liked it better for the teddy bear goal because the crowd reaction was big, so might have worked out in our favor. Legend who can't run his own soundboard. You hear the drum beat of the Catholic Central sticks against the boards on the bench. It's become a bit of a tradition. I enjoy it. Always gets me jacked up for the next period to come. As here we go for the second from Southside. Pushed over for East Grand Rapids. They're attacking the goal down to the left now. Barnes nearly had a step, and then he tried to center, and it was easily picked by Carlander. Carson Carlander, big-time glue guy for Catholic Central. Son of a former Grand Rapids Griffin, Corey Carlander, is now an assistant coach for Catholic Central. Corey played for several pro teams in his career, but he settled here in GR. Carson Carlander has really sprouted up in the last couple of seasons. Centered out in front, there's Carlander again to poke it off the stick of Barnes, who's sniffing the tying goal, but he couldn't settle the puck because of Carlander's presence. Gage Potter smashed by Brinker, but ahead comes Cooper Moss for a shot that drifts wide of the left side post. 1-0 Catholic Central on Teddy Bear Toss night. Like I said, we've taken care of that, and now it's all about the result. And the result is important. Winner moves on to the championship bracket of the OK Conference Tournament in a week and a half. First game in that tournament will be the first Wednesday of February. It'll be a Wednesday, Friday, Saturday setup once again. Looking forward to that event. Up ahead, too far for Jake Gosens, and the Pioneers are guilty of icing. Catholic Central has a record in league of 3-2-1. This is the final league game for both teams. League play has to be done by the 30th. There's just one more game in the OK-Roo Conference, and that was a postponed game. It was supposed to be Caledonia versus Byron Center last night, but I think due to the school cancellation, they didn't play it. They'll play on Wednesday. Those two are battling for the top spot. There is a scenario in which if East Grand Rapids wins this game, they'll get to 10 points, and if those two tie, Byron Center and Caledonia, all three of those teams will be tied for the top spot, and East would take it on a tiebreak. So East could be in the 5th seed if they lose this game, or they could be the 1 seed if they win this game and get some other results to go their way. Caden Gosens retrieves the puck. Can't have a tie, can't have an OT loss, can't have a regulation loss, certainly. Look at Pastelli play the puck to himself off the back of the net. Always love to see that. Crafty, and he leads Heminger into the attacking zone, but the puck drifts away from him after the stick check from Caden Gosens, the co-captain of East Grand Rapids. Parker Moore across to Pastelli. Head up, and again looks up that far wing, but too far for McLean to reach, and that's icing against the home team with 14:36 remaining in the second period. Catholic Central 3-2-1 in the Roo. That means they have 7 points. The one was the 2-2 tie against Caledonia, and you think that game could have gone a couple of different ways. If Catholic Central could have won that game like East did against Caledonia, then Catholic Central would be in a great position for this one. They wouldn't need the result. But if in one hand and you know what in the other, as they say. They got to get the win tonight if they want to play for a championship. Right to the front of the goal, deflected by McLean, snatched by Ryder Owen, and that's his best save of the night. Owen comes in with a .917 save percentage, a 1.98 goals against. A couple of shutouts. He has been one of the emergent stars in goal in West Michigan this year. Jacob Aaron, meanwhile, a .910 save percentage and a 2.25 goals against. And nearly had a shutout last night. Onstart, right on net. Oh, Owen couldn't glove it. It's still loose, and it just squirts wide of the goal. It was that close to going in. Owen lost his goal stick. He's waiting to pick it up. Now he can because Brinker pushes the puck to center ice. Lost it, but Many back there to cover for him, and Many, the soft toss ahead. Anyway, Aaron was 3 seconds away from a shutout last night against Heritage before the Hawks scored their lone goal. Aaron made 2 sensational saves just before the Hawks scored, so a bit of a heartbreaker in that way, but CC got the win, and it was rather comfortable. Brooks' shot, deflected. It jumps on top of the glass, and did it go out of play? Yes, it did. The referee says it did touch the netting. Got several players from the Fox Motors youth program standing sentry back there. So you know it's a pretty good crowd. We've got people behind the goal to our left. Sometimes even they filter down to our right. as well. We've seen that for regional playoff games between these two squads. We had a couple regional finals in a row between these two teams. Penalty coming, and it's against Catholic Central, and Parker Moore gets his gloves up in the face of Trevor Bird. Moore was almost shaking his glove like he wanted to drop it, but I don't think that was his intent. Just wanted to get in Bird's face. Moore does chat quite a bit out there, but this time he's nabbed for what he did before he was talking. High sticking the call against Moore, second penalty of the game against CC. 13:35 to go in the second. And in this case, Moore can't help them as he did on the first penalty kill when he went ahead on a breakaway and scored. So far, the only goal in this game. A shorthanded breakaway goal for a defenseman. You didn't have that on your bingo card, I bet. Barnes dishes it down low. Cycle game on for East on the power play. Bird across. Bjornsson wanted to pull the trigger, but it just skipped away from his reach. Bjornsson with 11 goals on the season. In front goes Barnes with it, and pried loose back to Brinker. The big man can shoot it. Here he fires, and it's blocked down in front by Onstad, and it deflects to the near side. Cross it goes. Bird couldn't handle the pass. East using the width of the rink very well. Bjornsson looks up, fires, saved by Aaron. He caught it head high on his knees, and he keeps the puck. 1:23 left on the minor penalty to Parker Moore for high sticking. Great game so far. Usually is between these two teams. Last year was an aberration because Catholic Central had to play Gavin Daddario in net, who was not a goalie by trade because of an injury to Jacob Aaron, and East ran away with that one. With their firepower, it was only a matter of time that night, but most times it's really close between these two. Gosens all the way over to Bird, right back to Gosens, twists it in the direction of Owen Runyon out by the blue line. Side of the net, flicked in front. Jake Gosens couldn't get it. Backhand by Cooper Rowan, that goes off target. Whithill back to the blue line with that pass to Caden Gosens. Runyon, second unit out there for East Grand Rapids. Bounced it right through the slot. There's Noah Onstad. He slugs it out of the zone beyond the patrol of Whithill. Ryder Owen holds it up. The puck was on edge. Catholic Central gets at least one fresh body on the ice. That's Jack Reynolds. And Reynolds quickly on the puck. Swats it ahead as it was rolling. Half a minute to go on the power play for East Grand Rapids. Their second of the night. Special teams have been decisive so far. Kevorkian smacks it ahead. One more time for CC. You can hear the East Grand Rapids coaching staff yelling at players to get off the ice and make the change. Help them keep their pace going. Runyon just bashed Moss in the cage that protects his face on the front of the helmet, and that's detected by the referee. Called high sticking. I thought it could have been roughing, could have been head contact, could have been a couple of things. But Catholic Central is about to have its first power play of the night in 8 seconds after Moore gets out. First penalty called against East this evening. I was curious if that was seen by the men in stripes. It was one of those plays that happens after the puck leaves, so sometimes players get away with it, but not in this case. So Runyon to the box, 11:42 to go in the second. It's a brief 4-on-4. And then Catholic Central, which scored twice on the power play last night, gets another advantage. Brooks circles his goal. Brooks trying to send Bird away on the break, but it's intercepted by Onstad. Here comes Noah. He goes down, but no penalty. Jensen on the ice and lost control of the puck to the Cougars. Bird played it behind Moore, tried to get around him. Moore did well to avoid the interference penalty. And Moore with that ice white stick of his snaps it up off the blade of Gage Potter. Losing control though, Brinker, big time step up from the defenseman to send it the distance for East Grand Rapids. Onstad, top point man for Catholic Central from the blue line. In over the blue he goes. Patrolling and feeding to Moss. Moss has some room, hit the outside of the goal with a wrist shot. Still loose. Here's Cooper again. Took another shot. That ricochets off the pad of Owen near side. And flicked up and out. Jake Gosens one-on-one. Gosens, nice move to the inside. High shot handled by Jacob Aaron. And he covers and keeps. Jake Gosens, the 4 goals on the year. Hasn't had one in a while, but he threatened there, shorthanded. Sometimes that's all it takes to keep a team honest. You gotta at least be a threat shorthanded, or else the power play squad can get really comfortable out there. That's always the goal. Feel free and easy. Whip the puck around the zone, but Ten Harmsel's got to go back for it this time. Bird in his face, but the play to Pastelli, who dangles and makes a tight turn. Here he comes. Dumping in, Dozma trying to get back to it, and is that called icing? I was almost certain Pastelli got to the red line. I don't know about that call. If I had to pick one call that I think is missed at the high school level the most, it is icings called when they are not appropriate. I don't critique the officials much, but those are tough calls. Looked to be a legal dump in, and like I said, Dozma was on the forecheck, hoping to get that puck loose. And now we're down to just 10 seconds to go in the power play. Pastelli worked his way over the blue line, weaving in, leaving for Dozma. Pastelli smoked by Hill. Thought it was away from the puck, but that play continues. Sometimes the refs will give leeway in terms of being near enough to the puck that the defender had reasonable, I guess, motivation to hit the player. That whistle was blown for a hand pass. East Grand Rapids next weekend heads down to the MIHL Showcase in Trenton. Catholic Central, meanwhile, will be home against Mona Shores on Friday. I'll have that game for you on the network, as they say, here on CPR. Power play is over. Catholic Central misfires on its first opportunity. Headman pass. Cohen Potter bumped into shoulder to shoulder by Jake Gosens. Good strong check. Play rolls on with Reynolds. Confronted by Gosens. Reynolds nearly stole it away. Gavorkian, though, helps out. Couldn't get it out. Brinker, a high drive. Blocker saved by Aaron. He saw it the whole way. Moore, lofted play. Off the boards. Out it goes. Brinker controls. Gets those crossovers going. And right by Reynolds. Left back for Rowan. He shoots in. Delayed penalty coming against Catholic Central. Might be against Reynolds for the stick work there on that one-on-one play in neutral ice. Yes, it will be hooking against Reynolds, and CC back short-handed. .848 left in the second, nearly midway through regulation. And it is number 2, Reynolds. Jack, the junior, heads to the box. That's fairly significant considering Reynolds is often out there on the PK. Not to mention, you don't want to keep giving East chances in a one-goal game to knot this thing up. Brinker sends it in the air, right past Bjornsson. Behind the goal, Barnes takes command. Barnes behind the net to Bird. It's essentially the top forward line out there for the Pioneers. Bjornsson, Bird, and Barnes. Brooks and Brinker on the blue line. It's the 5Bs for EGR. Brooks at the left point. Half wall, Bird. He and Brooks exchange. Bird slithering by Moss. Handed it to Brooks. Brooks across into the slot. Deflected away. I think Cooper Moss got a stick on that. Brinker holds at the point. Scored a hat trick against Forest Hills Northern and Eastern. Those are his only 3 goals on the year. He left it behind. It's taken away by Moss. Couldn't get past Bjornsson on a check at center. Bjornsson's stick ended up on the ice. East on the regroup. Brinker steps up, throws it to the front of the net, and Barnes missed on the tip. As a result, Aaron able to make a relatively routine save with 1:05 to go on the Reynolds minor for hooking. We've gone more than a period without a goal. In fact, a period plus almost 7 minutes since Parker Moore buried a breakaway. while shorthanded. His second shorty of the year, 5th overall. That gives him 12 points on the season. Gosens. After the Pioneers won the draw. That's Caden Gosens. Back to the far side, Bird to the middle. Jabbed wide by Cooper Rowan. Pardon, that was Hill who set that up. Cross rink it goes. Jake Gosens got a stick on it. Hill. Carlander forced him to give it up, but right back to the point. And Gosens to Runyon. A little bit of room. Snapped the shot right off the cuff of the glove of Aaron, and it jumped off the glass right back to Whit Hill, who laid a forearm into Pastelli's chest as Hill played it deep. Jake Gosens, 30 seconds to go on the power play. Hill helps it back to Caden Gosens. Jake Gosens looks a little bit hobbled after the check from Pastelli, who is certainly sturdy on his skates. Runyon to Hill, all the way rink wide. Caden Gosens' shot goes wide of the goal. Behind the net, Rowan stuffing it out in front. Look out, a shot by Caden Gosens is blocked. I don't know who got it, but there was a forest in front of that net. And 3 of those trees are wearing CC blue and white. Hill shooting, deflected by Jake Gosens to the far corner. Pastelli stable to the boards. It comes free to Carlander. He tried to send it ahead for Cohen Potter, fresh off the bench after Reynolds returned out of the penalty box. But that was blocked down at center. The Cougars have to regroup. Moore's pass, lassoed by Bjornsson. Back down it goes to Cohen Potter. Around, he angles it to Pastelli. Couldn't get it out. Rowan gloved it down. His shot into the feet of Bjornsson had his pocket picked by Pastelli. Morgan Pastelli ties up with Bjornsson, but following on Bird behind the goal. Post power play pressure right to the front. Bjornsson stubbed the backhand. Barnes back on it, pulls it out of the referee's skates. Moore up the far side. Moss, can the Cougars clear? They can't. Brooks shoots, just missed. Barnes rebound, saved by Aaron. It hops to the far corner. Still free to Gosens, kept it in again. Pastelli tries to clear, and he does. And he sends it down 200 feet. Owen negated the icing. He snaps it up ahead. Brooks on the move. The Cougars couldn't get it changed. Bjornsson maneuvering in. McLean, he was fresh on the ice, and he bumped Bjornsson off the biscuit. And now jabbed down by the Cougars, and this will be icing this time. What pressure for East Grand Rapids, but Catholic Central survives it, still leading it by 1. Clutch play from Caleb McLean coming off the bench. I think he was the only Cougar who got on the ice as they tried to make that switch. And the last East Grand Rapids game I saw, Ryder Owen picked up an assist on a similar type of play, a heads-up headman pass. He loves to wield that goal stick. Many cutting in for East. Poke checked by Gavorkian. Ten Harmsel protecting the puck. Skates it out of trouble. Heminger leading McLean. Deflected away from him. It's onside. Ten Harmsel following on. Tried to put it in the skates of Brooks, but unsuccessfully. McLean gathers the puck at center. We're down to 5 to go in the second period. Winner of this game will play in the championship bracket of the OK Conference Tournament, of which there will be 8 teams. Top 4 out of the Rue Division, of which these 2 teams are members, and top 4 out of the Fisher Division. Granville winning that division in the regular season handily, as it turns out. All the way across from Brooks onto the stick of Levan. Number 8 in gold. The Pioneers in their alternate gold uniforms with the LA Lakers style drop shadow numbers. Here's a shot from the inner edge of the circle by Hoekstra, handled by Aaron, and the Cougars don't like Hoekstra digging for that rebound, and I think we're going to have penalties on both sides. That's the impression I get from the referee, just trying to read his body language and his sign language, if you will. 4:20 left in the second. So in a way, it looks like the LA Lakers versus the Detroit Red Wings road uniforms. It's the inspiration for both sides. Yep, penalty for each side. We've got Hoekstra in the box for East Grand Rapids. Didn't catch the number for Catholic Central, but it's 5-on-5. And a bullet shot from Caden Gosens, fought off by Aaron. East has done well at the faceoff circle in this period. Gosens drubs it down the boards. Behind the goal, Jake Gosens centering. It's free. Runyon couldn't get a stick on it. Onstadt in his way. Caden Gosens protects it. Gave it away to Cohen Potter. Calling on trying to get to the wall to help out defensively. Runyon sends it around the horn for East. Rowan, blind pass back, picked off by Reynolds, and he is smoked by Caden Gosens right in the chest. Looked to be legal. Turned over by the Pioneers. Here's more. In front, Cohen Potter directed save by Owen. Big time stop. For a moment, it looked like it was about to be 2-0, but Owen smothers it after the initial save with his glove hand down on the ice. All splayed out, trying to make himself big against Cohen Potter. Parker Moore has been outstanding tonight, not even counting the goal. It just pops up at unexpected times, like that instance, to pick off that pass just inside the blue line. He's got great instincts. And the Catholic Central defenders are empowered to use those instincts. Carlander, fan on the shot on the stick check by Brooks. It's onto the blade of Trevor Bird. Bird reaching back. Cougars keep it in the attacking zone momentarily. And here's Bird back for it. Hooked up a bit by Moore. No call there. Back outside the blue line. Barnes has to wait. He shoots in. As well, he shoots it out of play. As it turns out, it goes into the screen over the high glass. And one of those young hockey players ends up with a souvenir. Should be a center ice draw. It's last touched by East Grand Rapids. Yeah, Kyle Marchand is saying it was a delayed offside as well. And the four officials are getting together to talk it over. The Pioneers had not tagged up sufficiently. So the shoot-in came with a player in the attacking zone. Even if it did hop off of a Cougar, it should still be a neutral zone face-off. And that's important because, like I said, the Pioneers have been good at the face-off circle. All it takes is one win at that spot. Now they're going to keep it in the attacking end. So the Cougars are going to have to buckle down and win this draw. That was the goal anyway. Back to the point. Brooks shooting and blocked in front of the net. Casey Ten Harmsel comes up big. Couldn't get it out, though. Carlander to the far side. Pastelli settles in behind his goal. So hopefully that call doesn't end up influencing things. But Bjornsson picks it off and fires it off the blocker of Aaron. East still in the attacking zone. Across it goes from Brooks. Hard bounce off the corner boards. Can Potter get it out? He can't, but Moss does. So the Pioneers forced to regroup in the neutral zone as the Cougars have full control of the puck, and they can recover from all that. Pastelli flies it ahead behind the goal on the east side of the ice. Owen drives it around. Gage Potter, long shot. Blocker save Owen. Ryder Owen, the younger brother of Oliver Owen, who scored more than 40 goals for East Grand Rapids, in case you recall the last name. Gage Potter stripped it center. You know the Potter last name if you're a Catholic Central fan in recent years. There's been a few through here. Pastelli leans in for the check. There might be a few more. Potter's coming as well. To be continued as Gage takes a swing at it. Reynolds getting in after Rowan of East Grand Rapids. But Brinker headmans it for Jake Gosens. Deflects it behind the goal. Brooks on it there. Emerging out. Poke check by Aaron. Still loose. Top of the crease. Dangerous puck. And out top, it's Porter Brooks. Wild swing of the puck to the corner. Works out. You knew someone was over there. It's Jake Gosens looking back door. Runyon went right through the top of the crease to try to create some havoc. 1:20 left in the period. Backhanded up off the body of Whithill, and he flips it through the slot. Pastelli got hit, and looks like East Grand Rapids is about to be shorthanded. Delayed penalty, but it not whistled yet. Here come the Cougars. Ten Harmsel across. Nearly connecting to Gage Potter on the backhand side. Gage, near wing again. Carlander, man open far side. Reynolds. Oh, big save by Owen. He pushed out, got the pad on it. And the Pioneers called for the penalty, but Gage Potter couldn't believe it. He had his hands on his head behind the net. He thought that could have been a goal. You know what, though? That net was dislodged, so it might not have counted if Reynolds had found a way to beat Owen with a shot. So maybe the Cougars are grateful they don't have to go through that heartbreak. But could have easily been a 2-0 lead. And still could be with 55 seconds to go in the period. And Owen Runyon called for the penalty for the second time in this game and in this period. Second power play for Catholic Central. They've got a shorthanded goal. Now they hunt a power play goal. Jackson Dozma, 11 assists on the year. Couldn't get that face-off win cleanly back, and it's off the glove of Onstadt. Parker Moore turns through center. A lot of things to navigate there for Catholic Central. Jammed in by Cohen Potter. He's trying to force the turnover, and Whithill hammers the puck away from the side of his net. Hill and Cohen Potter. Some stick fighting between the two of them, just briefly, nothing too drastic. As the Cougars wind it up. It's Moore, the only goal getter so far in this game. 22 seconds to go before the intermission. Hill pins him, but it's loose to Heminger. Right back to Moore, 15 seconds. He's got Dozema, shot saved by Owen. Loose puck, still free. It goes wide of the goal, and the referee blew the whistle. I think he lost sight of it. 9 seconds remaining in the second. That puck was up for grabs, though, as Noah Onstadt hands Ryder Owen his stick back, and they tap each other on the helmet. They must know each other. Happens so often in West Michigan hockey. Where's this faceoff going to go? I think it's going to go outside the zone. Ruled to be a hand pass against Catholic Central, it seems. Yeah, it should be all the way down if it is a hand pass. I was talking to East Grand Rapids coach Chris Newton about the fact that so many players in West Michigan know each other from the various club teams. Just a smaller community, smaller hockey scene in West Michigan compared to out east, where Chris is from Farmington, I believe. Off the face-off, free to Onstadt, and not enough time to do much of anything. Just 5 seconds to go in the period. Hail Mary pass, Jensen trying to get on the end of that. It's intercepted and cleared by the Pioneers. Back into Cougars territory as the buzzer sounds, ending the second. No goals in the second. But again, plenty of intrigue and action. And just to finish my story, Chris Newton said he actually really enjoys that aspect of living and working in West Michigan. You see so much of the fellowship after the games especially, but as we just saw there between Owen and Onstadt, even during games sometimes. These two teams want it bad, though. No mistake, and it's still just a one-goal game going to the third. Stay with us on Cougar Puck Radio. Thank you for joining me this evening. Teddy Bear toss in the books, and now we see who comes out on top in this high-leverage OK-Roo Division matchup. Motley Crue brings us back in for the third period. I'm Matt Gajtka. This is Cougar Puck Radio. And hello to all the East Grand Rapids fans as well, tuning in, watching. And just generally fans of high school hockey in West Michigan. I'm sure we got a few of those on top of that. Catholic Central leads at 1-0. Parker Moore's goal in the first period has stood up to this point. Catholic Central starts the third with a power play. They've got a minute and 2 seconds left to go on it. Owen Runyon in the box for cross-checking. East Grand Rapids short for just the second time this evening. Hasn't been a terribly heavy special teams game. Jensen powers it ahead off the end boards to the side of the net. Owen, the East goalie, cleared it off the top of the dasher boards. It stayed there for a moment. Jensen pried it loose, and then the Pioneers cleared, courtesy of Ethan Brinker, the senior defenseman. Bird tying up with Moore behind the goal in the corner, in fact. But here come the Cougars. Jensen. Oh, he's fouled at center on the side swipe hit by Brinker. But no whistle. Play continues. Brooks couldn't get it out. Porter Brooks pressuring against Moore. Poke through center by Bjornsson, but he had to start from a standstill, so he couldn't catch up to that puck. Onstad, just 7 seconds left on the power play. Looks like East are about to kill it off, and Catholic Central's about to go 0 for 2 on the power play tonight. But it was a special teams goal that gave them the lead. Turned over. Rowan off the arm of Aaron. I lost sight of the puck on the near side. All the Catholic Central students are standing, and so I was screened out. Onstad must have lost the puck, and so Catholic Central giving up a glorious scoring chance. But Jacob Aaron comes up massive once again, just like he did several times last night, to give the Cougars some breathing room against the Saginaw Heritage Hawks. The Cougars going for the weekend sweep here at home. Dozema checked Pioneer. That's a hand pass called against East Grand Rapids as Runyon was on the run down the near wing, but all for naught. East Grand Rapids last night fell 2-1 to Forest Hills Central. That game did not count in the conference standings, though, because East had already played FHC earlier this season, and that was the game that counted, and East had lost that game anyway, 3-0 to the Rangers. Looks like Forest Hills Central is going to be, well, actually, they could have, depending on what happens tonight, Forest Hills Central could end up in the bottom of the league, the bottom half of the OK-Roo standings. Top four make it. These two teams are right there on the borderline. A win for either would push them into the top four and give them a shot at playing for a championship. They got to win 3 games in that tournament coming up, but they would have a shot. East won the inaugural trophy last year. A wrister by Levan from a sharp angle near the corner, and that's shrugged away by Aaron. Levan reaching in, and again, it's in front of the student section, so having a hard time telling what's happening. I'm just going to go by context clues. My guess is as good as yours, as the puck does squirt out to center, right in front of us. J.D. Meny just inside the red line. Pumps it ahead and heads off for a line change. 14-18 remaining in the third. 10 Harmsel stretching out through center. And he loves to carry it, but that time he got run into by Bjornsson at the blue line. Right to the front by Carlander. Turning Moss, couldn't get the shot on target. Gevorkian deflects the puck up into the stands. And a young lady from Caledonia comes away with a souvenir. As it stands right now, Catholic Central has 7 points in the Roo Division standings, East Grand Rapids with 8. But East would lose the tiebreaker with Rockford. They're currently tied with Rockford because they fell 3-1 to the Rams earlier this month. Rockford had to forfeit a couple of league games due to playing too many games in a week. One of those was against Catholic Central, as the shot by Gevorkian is blockered away by Ryder Owen. You'll recall the game against Rockford was a 3-3 tie at Griff's Ice House. Cougars came back dramatically in that one, but it all didn't matter because the Cougars got a forfeit win out of that. Bjornsson turns out from behind, backhand pass toward the slot, swatted away by Gevorkian. Carlander been so defensively responsible in this game. He has almost been like a third defenseman as the Cougars are trying to lock it down. They got to win 1-0. They'll try to win 1-0 as Gage Potter is offside coming in over the blue line. Well, this game shouldn't surprise you if you've been following these two teams, each averaging, giving up about 2 goals per game and scoring a little over 2.5 per game. So neither team has played very many high-scoring outings, either goals for or goals against. If I had to predict the final score tonight, I would have said probably 2-1. We'll see if we get there. Might not even get to that point. Jake Gosen's back for Cooper Rowan. His wrist shot blocked. Alex Kevorkian got his body in the way. Look out, more. Stapled to the boards by Owen Runyon. And Runyon can't take the pass from Levan. The Cougars break it out. Caleb McLean surging down left wing. Offside as McLean's stick goes soaring. I think Colin was just ahead of the play. As I mentioned, the top 2 teams in the standings, Caledonia and Byron Center, they still have to play each other. If they tie, and if East wins this game tonight, then East would actually be the 1 seed. Forest Hill Central ended up finishing with 8 points in the standings. They're tied for 3rd with Rockford and East Grand Rapids coming into this. So if it's a tie, East would also make the top of the bracket, the top of the conference. So East can tie or win, as it turns out. Loose at center, J.D. Meny swings it ahead. Didn't want to talk about a tie because it's not really that exciting, but yes, a tie is good for the Pioneers in that regard. Catholic Central's got to win. That's all it comes down to, whether it's in regulation or in overtime. Heminger helped it back into his own end. 12 minutes to go. Catholic Central still leads 1-0. Heminger fires it in. Owen can't quite stop it, but he helps out his defender. That's Whit Hill. Bjornsson cradling at center. Run off the puck by Gage Potter. Hooks it into the path of Cooper Moss. A shot blocked by Barnes. Right back to Moss. Shooting again. Redirected just wide. That nearly hopped into the goal. Off an East Grand Rapids leg. Pustelli tripped at the blue line by Trevor Bird. And that's a penalty against East Grand Rapids, and Bird shoots for the empty net. Surprised the Pioneer didn't go, or excuse me, Cougar didn't go after him for that. Teams don't tend to enjoy that. But a power play coming for Catholic Central. The first penalty of the 3rd period. And who knows, maybe the only penalty of the 3rd period goes against Trevor Bird of East Grand Rapids for tripping. Each team has now had 3 power plays. Off the tie-up, it floats back to Parker Moore. Can he get another one? He'll hang on to it. Give it to Moss, top of the circle. Moss shooting for a stick. Gage Potter deflected it. Caden Gosens felled Jensen in front of the net. Levi Jensen, a pass back to the point, and way too hard for Noah Onstadt to catch up to. Levi Jensen's been playing the net front and doing it well. I said it last night, total eclipse of the goaltender at times with Jensen at 6'4", putting his 2 skates right at the top of the blue paint. East gets another clear. 40 seconds into the power play. Onstadt makes a little move. Gets him enough space against Bjornsson. The flip, tricky bounce, handled by Owen off the ice, and he can't move it anywhere, so he holds. Freezing the puck. 10:50 left in the 3rd. 1:09 remaining on the penalty to Bird of East Grand Rapids, who's been one of their big point producers this year. Back to the standings just quickly. Catholic Central is in 6th place with 7 points. But a win could get them as high as 3rd in the final standings. Just so volatile. This league has been so close in the top 6 this year. The top 6 separated by 2 points at the moment. 10 Harmsel as the Cougars have to regroup. And they skate through center. Carlander popping it in off the glass. Around the wood it goes. Dozema back to Pustelli. A shot blocker save. Owen And he punched that away with such power that it ends up at center ice. Pastelli dropping it dangerously back. Bjornsson reaching. Ten Harmsel, though, got the stick to it first. Heminger scored a power play goal last night. Cade Heminger, the dish toward the slot. Dozema lurking, but he couldn't quite get there. It's on the stick of Alex Barnes, and he clears for the Pioneers. And we're down to the final 20 seconds of the power play. Under 10 to go in regulation. Ten Harmsel. Back in deep. Hill, though, for East. Clears again. Off the far boards. Jacob Barron passing it off the stick of Jake Gosens. Every moment's a nervous moment right now. Playoff feel in January. Gotta love it. Carlander overlapping Ten Harmsel. Slips by the pressure of Rowan. Casey Ten Harmsel to the corner. Run off the puck by Caden Gosens. Carlander down to Anita. Shoot that on the one time. Blocked to the near corner. Heminger again. He yanks it back, trying to start the cycle game, but the only man there is wearing a gold jersey. That's Whit Hill. He clears. And back down to the side of the Catholic Central net. Gavorkian lost it to Runyon momentarily. Runyon fell down, trying to control the puck and skate backwards at the same time. Not as easy as it looks. Moore off the near window. Beyond the reach of Parker Moore. Flipped in by Hill. Gavorkian throws on the brakes. Halfway through the third period just about. 8:40 left. Brooks coughed it up to McLean. Ticks off the stick of Runyon, or excuse me, that was Levan. Back to Brinker. Hoekstra, handled by McLean. Moore down the boards, right back to Brooks. Neither team can get anything going at the moment. Hoekstra bumped by Moore. Just a defensive-minded game tonight. Moore takes it at the side of his goal. The Cougars had some great chances to make it 2-0 at the end of the second. Ryder Owen, though, came up with the saves. And Owen and Aaron have been nails all night, to be honest. Just the breakaway goal getting behind Ryder Owen, and Jacob Barron flawless so far. To the far side wall in front of the USA Hockey banner ad. Hoekstra to the near wing. Many kept it in play somehow, even though he nearly hit the ceiling with that flip out. Heminger pops it off a partition behind the goal. Owen gave it to Brooks. Porter Brooks with his head up. Long lead past Bjornsson. Could be a 2-on-1 with Bird. Bjornsson to the circle. A shot. Save Aaron. And it hops out of play. Off his shoulder and over the high glass. 7:29 remaining in the third. Remember that save for Jacob Aaron. Airtight Aaron tonight. That 2-on-1 came out of nowhere as suddenly East had their two top scorers bearing down on the Catholic Central goal. And Bjornsson called his own number. Right to the front. Barnes back against the grain. Bird denied. Aaron splayed out to kick it away. And remember that one too. Far side Hill. A shot. Aaron got a glove on that. Jacob Aaron is holding it out. He's putting up the brick wall. That's icing against Catholic Central, but boy, too close for comfort if you're CC as well. Noah Onstad gives Aaron a tap on the back of the helmet. 7:10 remaining. That one on Bird was Aaron's best. It looked like it was all going to go East way on that bounce in front. Brooks taking the shot after the faceoff win. The Pioneers have been good at the dot. That was the case earlier, and it remains the case. But Carlander blocked that shot. Gage Potter off the near wall, and the Cougars can't get into a shell. Got to protect against that. Don't put too much pressure on their goalie and their in-zone defending. They'd love to play more down to our left, and East trying to prevent that as Brinker dumps in. But East plays a fast-paced, athletic game. They put pressure on you in all areas. Gavorkian from a standstill. Gosens headed him off. 6.5 left in the third. Gosens across. It was deflected, but right onto the stick of Owen Runyon. Into the middle. Rowan bunted it back. It's on to Brinker. A shot blocked. nearly caught by Gevorkian, and he clears. He did it all himself there. Alex Gevorkian, junior defenseman, coming up big on that shift. Brooks handed it over to Cohen Potter. 6 to go in the third. Potter, can he clear? He can't. Hoekstra's right there. Standing guard. Flips it below the goal line. Noah Onstad on the puck. Wedge down was Onstad, but he kept it moving to Caleb McLean. Up the far boards. Brooks creates an angle. Shoots. Saved by Aaron, and nothing further from that. 5:45 left. Catholic Central Hockey brought to you by our gold sponsors, Innovia Wealth, and new for now. Tonight, in fact, the first game that Arc Insights has joined the fold. Royal Blue sponsors, Chris Back, Fox Motors, Sharp Automotive, and 3-in-1 Solutions. Countless other sponsors as well. Get you those when we have time. Cooper Moss, we're in the captain's C. Driving ahead, Moss wristing from the right circle. Missed it. Long side. Gage Potter lets the dump in go behind. Dummied the play well. Moss went down. He looks for a call. Not going to get it. As Hill took him out, and now Hill leads the rush for the Pioneers, but that's offside against East Grand Rapids. Catholic Central trying to finish their conference season with a record of 4-2-1. A rebound season so far for CC, a record overall of 12-5-2. East Grand Rapids at 10-8-0. Catholic Central coming off a couple of seasons below 500. East, I mentioned, they've won 4 regions in a row. They've made the second half surge their signature this decade especially. Made it all the way to the East, the Class 3A, or Division 3, mixing up my sports, Division 3 championship game a couple of years ago. Barnes unable to handle it high in the zone, but he moved it. Brooks, a slap shot, hard off the end wall, and it sticks on the back apron of the net, and so the whistle sounds. But East has gone to the state tournament each of the last 4 years. Catholic Central hasn't been there since 2021 when they went to the quarterfinals and fell to Flint Powers Catholic. Well, both these teams, if they go that far, don't have to worry about Flint Powers Catholic anymore because they're D2. They moved up. They self-promoted, which is a thing in Michigan high school hockey. Ladled ahead, Heminger on the puck. He's going to take it behind the goal. Leaning in against Whithill. 2 hard-charging players, broken up by the Pioneers, and they whistle at the length of the rink. No icing. Might have been deflected. That's my best guess on that. Why there was no whistle. 4:17 left in the third. Reynolds ties it up, and it's free on for Pastelli to carry through center. Pastelli with Heminger, moving to the outside, trying to find a passing angle, a shooting angle, something. Pastelli pulls it back, just shot, score! Cade Heminger makes it 2-0. Catholic Central on the sweet setup by Morgan Pastelli. And that might be the one that does it. 4:02 left. Welcome to the good life. Heminger, second goal of the weekend. Big celebration. It's not over yet, but that goes a long way for Catholic Central. Didn't know what Pastelli had in mind. Ended up just swinging it toward the net front. Not a bad play, as it turned out, but rarely a bad idea to put the puck into the mix, and Heminger got on the end of it. And defensemen contributing offensively, it's been a theme all season for Catholic Central, and it just created the biggest goal of the year to this point. Here's Bird centering, and now East must turn the pressure up. Pastelli, the first-year Cougar, it's going to be his only year in Cougars blue and white. As he elected to play high school hockey this year as opposed to for his club team. That's icing against Catholic Central. Gage Potter sent it all the way down the distance from just behind the red line. Pastelli, the native of St. Joe, but he's come a bit north to play senior year high school hockey, and the Cougars are happy to have him. So will Catholic Central pick up the 2 points tonight? That would push them into third place in the OK-Roo and give them a chance to play for that trophy in a couple of weeks. Rowan delivered the boom against Ten Harmsel, and the Cougars would be wise to not engage, though. They want to just keep the play moving. They just want to keep playing hockey, not take any penalties, obviously. If they can help it, Onstott delivers it to Moore, up the ice for Dozema, deflects it ahead. This is Brooks, all the way across to Brinker. We'll see how East reacts to falling behind by a couple. First goal in this game in more than 2 periods. To the corner, Brinker closing, looking for the wrap. Aaron the save, rebound off of Aaron. Oh, another rebound. He made another save on Barnes. Airtight Aaron comes up with the goods. 2:44 left. The first save he made on Brinker was unconscious. He didn't know it hit him. And the second one, he knew what he was doing. He pushed across, made himself big, and Barnes unable to beat the big man from the inner edge of the right circle. It's been a thrill a minute here lately, deep into the third period. My pleasure to bring you the game on Cougar Puck Radio. Big battle for the puck behind the goal. Ryder Owen is off the ice on that faceoff. It's a 6-on-5 for East Grand Rapids. 3 men in goal below the goal line. It's loose to Bjornsson. Bryce Bjornsson plays it back to Caden Gosens. Across to Whithill, thought about a pass, and had a little spasm there as he tried to pull it back, but here's Bird. Shooting redirected by Jake Gosens. Off the glass, back in by Bjornsson, save, rebound, and Gosens was drilled, and that's a penalty against Catholic Central. Just got to figure out what the call will be, but it nearly hopped right to Jake Gosens for what could have been a tap-in, and a good idea from Pastelli to cross-check Gosens and at least prevent the goal then. Still 2:10 left. The Cougars are not out of the woods yet. Their 4th penalty of the night, and I have to imagine we're going to see Chris Newton use a timeout. Maybe not. The head coach for East keeping it in his pocket for now. Maybe hoping that his team can get one, and then there might come a time to pause the action. So it's a 5-on-4. Owen's back in the net. 5-on-4 power play for East. I just assumed that they would keep the goalie off and make it a 6-on-4, but that's why you don't assume, I suppose. Bjornsson out of the corner. Great drag move. Backhand. That was going offline, but Aaron made the glove save anyway. Around the boards and out. Powered out of the zone by Catholic Central's Dozema, I believe it was. Owen hands to Brinker. 1:43 left. Center ice and Brooks tees it up for Bjornsson. Makes a move past Reynolds. Bjornsson to the face-off circle. No room there. Ten Harmsel closed it off. Backhand pass. Hit Onstott's skate. Dozema can't clear this time, though. Brooks down to a knee. Artfully keeps it in. Brinker to Bjornsson. Centering Barnes. Stopped by Aaron again. And no further play. 1:21 to go. And here comes Ryder Owen to the bench for East Grand Rapids again. No, wait. He's going back to the net. Coach Kyle Marchand looking over, talking to his boys, trying to keep them updated on the strategy. Now Owen goes to the bench. It's a 6-on-4. Brinker's shot deflected in. It was tipped in front, I think, by Trevor Bird. It hopped into the top of the net, and it ain't over yet. It's 2-1. 1:12 left. So a power play, extra attacker goal. 6-on-4 tally, scored by East. Brinker set it up. Bird gets his 11th of the year to tie Bjornsson for the team lead. And you almost knew it had to be a 1-goal game. Well, I said it was going to be a 2-1 final. We're there now. 1:11 left. Ryder Owen back in the net for East. It's been pulled 2 separate times. He might be pulled a 3rd time if East can get it out of its zone. Brinker with Gage Potter confronting him. Owen making a move toward the bench. Brinker, serpentine through center. He's in over the blue line. Now to the half wall. Back to the point. It's Jake Gosens. It's a 6-on-5. Gosens fan on the attempted pass. Cougars couldn't get it out, though. They try again. Gosens to Bjornsson at the circle, trying to find room for a shot. He passed it right through the crease. Runyon punched it back to the blue line. Here's Brooks. A shot. Didn't get through. Too many bodies in the slot. Runyon again. Down low. Deflected up over the top of the net. Half a minute left. Onstad couldn't get it out. Brinker held it. Down it goes again. Carlander, one more time, up off the glass, out of play, into the netting. 22.6 seconds remaining. It's a de facto play-in game to get into the top half of the OK Roo. And now we see the timeout. Just shy of 9:30 here on a Saturday. Deep into January, and both coaches going to the marker board to draw something up. So the drama picks up after the Trevor Bird power play goal. East ends up 1 for 4 on the power play. Oh, I guess they could end up with another advantage chance, but as of right now, not looking likely. Goals in this game for Catholic Central by Parker Moore way back in the first period. Remember, this was Teddy Bear Toss night, so we got that going. The energy was flowing early. No goals in the second. In the third, though, a couple on an exchange. First, Catholic Central. Cade Heminger, the junior forward, scored his 5th of the year, 2nd of the weekend. Off a smooth setup by Morgan Pistelli. With 4:02 left, it was 2-0 Cougars. And then just a moment ago, a deflection goal by Trevor Bird, stationed out in front of the net, tipped it into the roof of the goal off the point shot from Ethan Brinker. Timeout's over. 22.6 seconds to go. One of these teams will end up playing for a championship in a couple of weeks. We'll see who ends up winning the game. Bjornsson, the shot from the point blocked. Dozema clears. Down it goes. It's going to be icing against Catholic Central, but that took some time off the clock. 11 seconds left. The Cougars are jamming up the slot. It's going to take quite the effort for East to get a point shot through. They might have to work it down low. We'll see what they go with. Drop of the puck. Alex Barnes wanted against Carlander. Brinker across. Brooks shoots. Missed the net to the right. 4 seconds to go. On the half wall, Bird slugged it toward the slot. Picked up by Ten Armsel. He cleared the distance. Time runs out. Catholic Central wins. Cougars win 2-1. Biggest game of the year. And Catholic Central comes through with the 2 points. They'll finish in 3rd place in the OK Roo division, and they will play in the championship bracket down in Granville starting the first Wednesday of February. As for East Grand Rapids, the Pioneers lose both games on the weekend. They drop to 4-3 in league, and they will be edged out, as it turns out, by both Rockford and Forest Hills Central. East finished with 8 points just like those two teams, but they lost to both of those two teams this season. Ironically, East beat the top 2 teams this year in the regular season, Caledonia and Byron Center. But we have our top 4 in the OK Roo. It'll be Caledonia, it'll be Byron Center, it'll be Catholic Central, and it'll be Rockford. Despite forfeiting 2 league games, the Rams still manage to get into the top 4 of the standings. Handshakes at center ice. Fantastic matchup. We see this often in the regional playoffs, and it felt like that every bit tonight at Southside Ice Arena. Thank you to everyone who contributed teddy bears and stuffed animals in general, not just bears. Stuffies, as my kids call them, for the Teddy Bear Toss game, held in recognition of Billy Wonder Gym and the Billy Bear Hug Foundation. The Cougars tap their sticks on the ice to salute their fans. Well, mission accomplished tonight. Catholic Central, its 13th win of the year, 13-5-2. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. As it turns out, Cade Heminger gets the game-winning goal. He scored that one deep into the third period. East made it really close and really exciting at the end, but not too exciting for Cougars fans, as it turns out. Just the right amount of excitement as they survive a last-minute flurry and come out of here with the victory. Next broadcast on Cougar Puck Radio next Friday, 8 o'clock start right here at Southside against the Mona Shores Sailors. I'm Matt Gajtka saying good night, God bless. Thanks to Ben Kappinga again for running the camera. I'll talk to you in 6 days' time